At Arizona State University, we're bringing world-class education from our globally acclaimed faculty to you. Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online. That's a degree better. Learn more at asuonline.asu.edu.
You better not have no plans tonight.
Movie time and it's feeling right.
You're looking for a love that lasts. You'll find it at Romance in the Podcast. Ooh, ooh, baby, you had me at hello. Ooh, I love you.
I know.
Ooh, ooh, baby, you're the wind beneath my wings. Ooh, ah, I'll have what she's having.
Thank you for tuning into Romance in the Pod. We had you at hello. I'm Paige Wesley.
And I'm Todd Schlosser, and that means sometimes Paige and I talk about movies, which this week our movie was
Poetic Justice.
I don't know why I'm struggling with the intro for
I don't
specifically
either.
Romance in the Pod.
Yes.
But I've messed it up 2 weeks in a row.
It's all good. This is our first Tupac movie on either pod. I can't believe it's taken us this long.
I am a little surprised this is the first time I've ever seen him act in my entire life.
He's good.
Paige, I was not prepared for how good he was in this movie.
He's real good.
I thought it would be like, you know, when you have like a quote musician acting in a
Sure.
movie
Uh-huh.
and you're like, all right, not everybody can be John Bon Jovi. Am I right? That guy can act. You know what I'm saying?
God. That's crazy that's the example you pulled out.
I'm joking, clearly. I don't think he's the best actor. I'm joking. Tupac was really good, though, was my point. Like,
Yeah.
I was actually surprised at how good he was, considering this was not like his quote day job, if you want to call it that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And this is the thing that not a lot of people know about Tupac unless you get super into Tupac. Tupac was like a theater nerd as a kid.
Oh, yeah. He went to like a performing arts school, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he is a multi-hyphenate because he is very talented. And if you haven't seen any other of Tupac's movies, if this is your first time, he's great in this.
This was my first Tupac movie altogether, and the first time I've seen this movie. So, yeah.
I highly recommend Juice. Juice is fucking nuts, but Tupac is terrifying in Juice.
Nice.
And that's what I'm recommending it because he's a completely different character than he is in this movie. And I just remember being like 3/4 of the way through Juice being like, holy shit, he's scary. And then you watch him in this and you're like, I get it.
Yeah.
I get how they could be together. Like, yeah, of course, I
Yeah.
understand.
That it makes sense.
Right.
They actually do have a pretty good amount of chemistry, too.
Absolutely.
Also, Janet Jackson does a good job in this movie.
Janet Jackson's a good actress.
I agree. But between them, they've sold like 175 million albums.
I know.
So like you wouldn't expect them to be like amazing actors too. You'd honestly expect them to be at best like a Vanessa Hudgens. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And I do kind of wish we had like Tupac, Janet Jackson, like at this stage in life, Lifetime movies that are being produced on Netflix. Like I'd watch those for sure.
Okay, here's what I want instead of that.
I hated your idea. Here's my idea.
No, jumping off from your idea, right?
Yes.
Because we could have the Hallmark version, right? Or we could have Before Sunset, and this is their Before Sunrise.
This kind of feels like it. Yeah, it kind of
Yes.
feels like it's like the first entry into that.
Correct.
Except instead of walking around a foreign city, they're like driving to Oakland.
Yeah.
But I mean, the whole thing is largely just like conversations between the two of them. And of course, Regina King and Chicago, whose name I don't remember, but Chicago was his name in the movie.
Right.
But it is a lot of that.
Yeah.
Like just those conversations between the two of them and them going to a very large family reunion. Honestly,
Love
it
that.
made me feel like I was back in Utah at a family reunion. I was like, oh, damn, I guess like they're not the only ones that grew up Mormon kind of in that
No.
way. You know what I'm saying? Like, they just have big family reunions. I've been to so many family reunions where there's no way to even talk to everyone that's there. Like
Sure.
400, 500 people at a family reunion is not weird for like my extended family.
I guess I do have a big enough family to do that, but we're kind of spread out. So I've never been to anything that large that's family, but my like immediate cousins and family for like Christmas Eve, that's like 40 people.
Yeah.
So like if everyone comes, it's like 40 people. So I can't imagine how big that would be once we got out into the sticks of like the genealogy tree.
But I mean, that barbecue felt very like true to like what ours was like, just because it was just like a bunch of people were cooking food, a bunch of people were hanging out eating food, and then like the kids were just doing ever. Like throwing frisbees,
Yeah.
kicking soccer balls, just like whatever would keep us occupied while our parents like hung out and chatted. I haven't been to one since I left the church, which I did at a pretty young age because I don't want to be like the black sheep. But, so I don't go to them anymore.
We talked about this a little bit on, I don't think it was God Awful Movies, but I think it was when we had Eli on to do the most recent Exorcist movie, where he talked about like the thing we miss the most from organized religion is potlucks.
For sure,
And
yes.
you know what? Real.
Fully agree with that, yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So was this the first time you've seen this movie, though, Paige?
I thought it would be, and then upon watching it, realized I have definitely seen sections of this film before,
Okay.
and just did not know they were part of this.
I've seen stills from this film.
Oh,
Because,
sure.
it's like two of the biggest artists at the time, like in a movie together, so that's like pretty iconic. So I knew what this film looked like, if that makes sense, but I had never seen it.
I feel like John Singleton does something really interesting, and it does impact the pacing a little bit, but you kind of just have to be ready for it if you're seeing one of his films, where he's not just going to tell you the one story. He's basically going to lay out and world build the community that these people live in, and then gradually narrow the story down and down and down and down until it's just the two people that we're watching.
Yeah.
Essentially. And that's what this movie does. The weirdest part, well, two weird things. I did not realize going into this that all of the poems were Maya Angelou poems, and I'm a big Maya Angelou fan. And as the poems were going, I was like, are they just ripping off Maya Angelou? And then they get to the cookout and she's there. And I was like, oh, she clearly gave permission.
Yes.
These are all hers.
It would be kind of funny if she was at the premiere to see herself in the barbecue and she was like, are they stealing my shit?
Is this play about us?
That's not cool, guys. That is not cool.
That's not cool. But no, they get to Phenomenal Woman. I'm like, oh, they are just using Maya Angelou poems.
Yeah, that's the one I recognized. I was like, oh, that's just Maya Angelou. I honestly, I didn't recognize the earlier ones. But I definitely recognize that one because that one's like really famous. Like I heard it in a Southern school famous. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
So that number one, that I did have a couple moments of like, hey, oh wait, she's here. It's fine.
Yeah. She definitely okayed this.
Definitely okayed this. But secondly, this movie is about basically the only two places I have lived in my life, and the road I have driven between them probably at this point hundreds of times.
Right? The one, taking that one all the way to okay.
They do take the one until it immediately cuts to the 5.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah, I noticed that too. I was like, those aren't really that close. Because I when I lived in San Diego, we would drive up the one to Oakland or San Francisco sometimes.
Yeah.
Because it's just a pretty drive. It actually
gorgeous,
is way
yes.
faster to take the 5, which is the interstate that's kind of Midland.
Right.
But it would take 2 hours to get from the 1 over to the 5. And I'm talking very much like someone from California, because I'm not saying Interstate 5. I'm saying just the 5, which is
The 5.
very Californian, which I learned while watching SNL.
Well, it's only Southern Californian. So Southern California says the, Northern California does not.
Oh, you just say 5? You're just like...
Yes, we just 5, 580, 680.
Okay.
880, 280, whatever.
I think I may have told this story, but I learned this while I was at a Padres game with a friend of mine who still lives in San Diego. And the lady in front of us, they were playing the Dodgers, and the lady in front of us, like her diss was just like, go home. She kept saying go home.
Yeah.
And then like 10 minutes after she started saying that, she started giving them turn-by-turn directions to get on the interstate to go home. And that's when I was like, oh, you guys don't say interstate here. You guys are just like, take the 5 up to Calabasas or whatever. It was like very specific.
I think one of the only ones that has... There are some that are like famous interstates that have different names. So like they'd call Route 66 Route 66, not the 66.
That's been in songs and movies and shit.
Right, exactly. We're not going to change the rest of the country now.
Yeah, that's already got really good branding.
But that's also something that Northern California makes fun of Southern California for, is the, because we're like, it's just 580. What are you talking about? Like, it's
right.
Whatever.
Yeah.
But because I've lived here for so long, I adopted the. They couldn't break me of my hella, but I did adopt the.
Fair.
But my favorite is when he's like, walk the 15 miles to Oakland, and they're in Atascadero, which is clear. It's like 190 miles away from Oakland.
At least. I mean, but those are like the most beautiful spots. Like, I understand why you shoot that scene there, but Chicago's dead. Like, we don't see him again. They are not anywhere close to 15 miles away from Oakland, though. They're like a 2-hour drive to Oakland from where they are right there, right?
Oh, no. From there, it's a solid 3.5 hours.
Okay, so yeah, it's further than that. Yeah.
Yeah.
15 miles, my ass.
Well, and especially if you're on Highway 1, if you're on the PCH, that's like 3.5 hours from there. Because that's when they drop Chicago off, they're about 15 minutes away from where Jake and I got married. So we know that stretch very well.
Sure.
And it's almost immediately in the middle. And so like on the PCH, it's like 7.5 hours. On the 5, it's 5 hours from like LA to Oakland.
Yeah, the 5's way faster, but it's boring. You're just driving through like open farmland kind of.
It's just cows.
Yeah.
But yeah, when they dropped him off and he's like 15 miles to Oakland, I was like, you wish, buddy. Like, there's maybe 15 miles to Pismo.
If he walked it would take 3 days. Which I'm sure he either hitchhiked or like got to a town and got a bus or whatever, but yeah.
When she gets out and she's like, I'll walk, I'm like, you'll be there next week. Like, this is not a walkable distance.
She should just turn around and walk back towards LA because she's closer to LA. I mean, that's like right after they leave.
Yeah, she's basically in like Malibu. Yeah.
You can still see Century City. Like, just turn around and walk to LA.
You could see the Westfield from here and you still wouldn't get parking. I did really like this. Even though it's paced differently, we don't really get to the like motion of the story till almost 40 minutes in.
I think you were right with the whole Before Sunset, not critique, but like comparison.
Yes.
And if you look at it like that kind of movie, the pacing doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
Because it really is just like the conversation between the two of them and them sort of building chemistry and connection and stuff like that, which honestly, like, John Singleton's really good at. Like, he does that in a lot of his movies. Like, it's just, he's really good at it.
I feel like you need a lot of that world building to understand why they aren't immediately into each other and why they're kind of at odds and how it's not necessarily that they're not into each other as much as it's just they each have their own shit going on.
Yeah.
And it is a lot. And like, I don't even have time to think about, I'm a hurt person that's going to hurt a person because I can't even fathom thinking about things outside myself right now.
Yeah. It's just, it does a really good job of setting up that they both have very different but baggage, you know?
Right.
I kind of like that. I also, okay, so like this movie is made by people and for people that probably are not me, right?
Sure. Doesn't mean you can't like it.
No, I liked it. That's not what I'm saying. I appreciate them taking more time to world build because frankly, it's a world I don't know all that well. So like if you are from that community, you're probably like, yeah, we get it.
Yeah.
But I'm like the dumb white guy who like needs that kind of hand holding. And I find that John Singleton does that really well in the stuff he makes. It's very accessible to people who aren't necessarily insular in that community. So like, I appreciate that extra time. But yeah, I think it's a fair critique though.
Yeah, there's actually a lot of fun facts for this movie when we get to it, which is great because like, you know, depending on when something was made, sometimes there's more, sometimes there's less fun facts. There's a lot for this one. Unfortunately, because they were filming in the middle of the riots. We'll talk about / protests.
Okay,
we'll call them a protest.
Yeah. I also hear that lead actor might be a musician. We should look into that.
Not only a musician, but also affiliated. So that comes into play too a little bit. Super interesting fun facts, but also, so I'll save those mostly for the end. But as we're going through, I have a lot of wild location fun facts because they didn't make up fake names for businesses or anything. They just used the real ones.
Really?
Yes. So a ton of stuff that they mention or talk about or go to around LA still exists, still there.
Cool.
You can go.
Yeah, that's cool.
I'm not going to recommend you go for the one specific one that I definitely know where it is. I'll tell you when we get to it.
Okay.
But then they also like, as they're going along the one, if you thought this movie was beautiful, drive PCH because that is what it looks like all the time. Whenever people are like, California's a shithole, I'm like, man, just take one look at Highway 1. Like,
yeah,
literally.
I would answer that. And as someone who used to live there, and I love California, if someone said California was a shithole, I would do what I do in improv and just say yes. And there are some beautiful spots too, just like every state. But yeah.
I have been to, I counted up recently, I think 40 of the 50 states at this point.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say California got more beautiful spots spots than most. Not all, but most.
Definitely more than Tennessee. Like, I think, honestly, maybe just because I like Mount Zion and, like, a lot of the Utah skyline is, like, insane. So, like,
I love the desert. I think the desert's gorgeous.
Listen, I think California's pretty. I'm not saying that. I think Utah is one of the only states that might give it a run for its money.
I think one of the coolest parts about California is pick a type of landscape and you got it.
That's why Hollywood's where it is.
All of them. You could pick anything and be like, I like forests. Great, we got those. I like snow. We got that too. I like beaches. I like desert. We got all of it.
I can't remember who it was, but like one of the founding fathers of quote Hollywood, when asked why they wanted to be there, he was like, we're 2 hours away from every climate.
Yeah, no, that's real.
Yeah.
They have trail maps for if you want to try and hit every climate in a day.
Yeah.
You can.
Pretty much any filming location climate you would need, it's within 2 hours. That's crazy.
Yep.
So yeah, that makes sense. Anyway, I liked the movie. I really think Chicago and Regina King need therapy. Like, not together.
They definitely don't need to be together.
Yeah. No, they are broken up at the end of this movie and should be. But like, they both need therapy because neither of them can communicate for shit. I don't think Tupac and Janet Jackson do an amazing job, but they eventually learn how and do communicate. You know what I'm saying?
They eventually work through it. Yeah.
Yeah, they figure it out.
I would say that Regina King and Chicago's characters perfectly typify why I don't hang out with a ton of people who still drink. Because in your 20s, it's kind of unavoidable. Those people are just around. But as like an adult, like when Jake and I go out or whatever, it's one thing if somebody's going to have a beer or whatever. But for people that get that level of drunk and just start fights, I can't. My back hurts too much.
Yeah.
I don't want to be around for that.
My back hurts too much to continue carrying this friendship. I'm out.
My back hurts too much. These drinks are $16 and I'm tired and I want to go home and eat Raisin Canes while I watch Bridgerton.
I mean, I feel like you've got your priorities straight, so...
Thank you.
I will say this about their first kiss. I was very disappointed in it. It kind of looked like they had just woken up and Janet Jackson was very worried about having morning breath. Like, her lips were so sealed.
I noticed that.
It was crazy to me.
Later, it was fine, but like...
Yeah, it's just their first kiss.
They work into it.
Yeah.
But that initial, I did notice that too. I was like, interesting.
I was like, I wonder if they just had lunch or something. And she was like, shit, I got a bunch of garlic in my mouth. I don't know. Something like that.
I'd get self-conscious for sure.
I don't know, man. I'd probably lean in.
I mean, it's Tupac. I don't blame you.
Is that a habanero? That's it's great. I love it. It's very spicy.
Ooh, garlic.
I do think it's a crime that, like, okay, the two of them have, no joke, probably 175 million, 200 million albums sold.
Right.
Neither of them sing a song in the movie? Really?
I thought for sure when we got to Oakland,
we were going to get like a hustle and flow really quick.
Or like the end of 8 Mile where his cousin's going to be like, take it, man, you got this or whatever. But that is not this movie.
I'm going to eat mom's spaghetti. You lay down a track, right?
Right.
Doesn't happen. No, that guy is just dead. And then I love kind of what happens with the gear and like...
My hope is that he goes on to then be the Tupac we know and love.
Me too, 100%. That's kind of what I see like the movie kind of telegraphing. But I also really like that the movie isn't like, and his cousin died so that he could be famous. Like, it just left with, he got this equipment because I think his aunt and uncle correctly like chose, like, yeah, he would want you to have this. Like, this is a thing you share.
Sure.
And you guys were more brothers than cousins. And then it sets it up like, yeah, he might become a thing because of it. But like, this is not that story, you know?
No, and it's more just about the relationship of the things that they created together.
Yeah.
I did in that moment be like, well, you could have phrased this a little bit differently and been like, I want to continue the art we were working on. But then I was like, his cousin just died. Like, he's got to get some shit out. It's fine. Just let him be a little gruff for a bit.
Yeah, I feel like his uncle's like super kind in that moment because he does like,
100%.
hey, watch your language or whatever, which like he could have been way worse.
Yeah.
But he was like really open and accepting. And like, I loved that moment, honestly. I thought it was really sweet that he asked. Maybe he could have asked a better way, but
He's going through a lot.
and it was really sweet the way they reacted to it.
I know it's why they kind of break up for a bit in the movie where he's like, if I'd have been here on time, this wouldn't have happened. And I was like, I know that's not true and you should talk to somebody about it. But at the same time, I fully understand feeling that in the moment and lashing out and reacting in that way. And the downside of this is that this is 1992. And so there's no cell phone for her to check back in and be like, I know you were going through some shit. How are you doing now?
Or just like, hey, I've been thinking about you. I'd love to talk and like clear the
Right.
air at least or whatever. Yeah.
Right.
You can't just like shoot a text like, hey, you up? Love to chat. You know?
Or, hey, I'm sorry I said that really mean thing to you.
Yeah.
I had clearly gone through a lot that day, as you saw.
Actually, Paige, I don't know that she has his phone number.
I don't think they have each other's numbers and therefore cannot find each other.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
He knows where she works.
yeah, that's what I was going to say. It puts it all in his court because he does know where she works.
Right.
But she can't really reach out to him. I mean, I guess she could back channel through Chicago if he's still alive.
I mean, he is. He's living on a beach in Pismo, hopefully working on himself and working through the things that he has in his life that made him think it was okay to hit a lady, and it's not. So, like...
Yeah, I mean, I understand why he would be so mad in that moment, but like that wouldn't make me want to hit you. It would make me want to cry and walk away.
Sure. I also think she was bluffing. I don't think she was actually banging somebody else. I think she was trying to make him angry, which, by the way,
Don't do that. Yeah.
That's not a great way to argue with people.
Come on, guys. Like, lock it up. What are we even doing?
And again, I'm not blaming what happens to her. She did not deserve. That's not okay.
No, he should never have hit her no matter if it was true or not.
Never, ever.
Yeah.
But good communication tip is don't deliberately try to make people angry when you're having discussions, because that will only escalate things and make it worse. This is why I have like a no roast rule with my husband, because like I have the ability to say things to hurt people professionally. So we don't use that when we have discussions.
She's real good, y'all.
We stick to the task at hand and talk about how it makes us feel and hold space for each other to openly communicate those things in a way that is not meant to hurt each other, but rather meant to solve problems.
Yeah. These are all great tips.
We've been married for a while. Planning on keeping doing it. No plans to change. Y'all can't take him.
I don't want to.
I locked the doors.
Yeah. Tight. Let's have a Kiki page. And while we do, let's go through this movie scene by scene.
Let's do it. We open on a title card of Once Upon a Time in South Central LA. Great score.
And then it drops in Rhapsody in Blue. And I was like,
Yep.
Why is Billy Zane in this movie and bald?
And Titanic levels of bald.
Yeah, like cue bald.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And he is working way too hard.
I guess he wasn't bald in Titanic, huh?
I mean, Paige, who knows? It was so long ago.
It was so long ago. Please, I have a child.
She could have moved over is all I'm saying. But Billy Zane is working way too hard to get this lady who's at dinner with him to sleep with him. Like, she's like yelling yes before the question's even asked. And he's like really trying hard. He doesn't need to, though. It's very funny to me.
Whatever they are watching, which might be a real movie, I have no idea.
No way.
I don't think it is.
It can't be.
But I mean, if you want to Google while I express my...
I am gonna Google.
Go for it. Because they're like drinking wine out of wine glasses. And then he's like, another? And she's like, no, here. And hands him like a tumbler, like a water glass, basically. And then just knocks the whole thing back. And she's like, you know what you're doing. And I'm like, what is this movie?
Honestly, I truly hope it exists because I want to watch it.
Next week. No. But yeah, I just have it all caps in my notes. Billy Zane.
I wrote Baldy Zane because he's bald.
He's bald. But he also walks over to, and this is a relic of the era. I had a CD player like this, where it stands upright and you load the disc into it upright and it spins.
That's some real rich people shit. Those were like the early CD players that were like artsy.
Yes. I got mine much later when they were not as expensive.
When they were secondhand. That's what I saw them the first time too.
It's like, do you want to look like a rich douchebag?
From the 80s?
Here you go. I think mine was new, and so it was probably nice and expensive, but like not nearly as expensive as the shit he's got going on. But I would have received mine somewhere in the neighborhood of 1998, I believe. So
Fair enough.
Yeah.
It looks like the Billy Zane movie
okay.
that is shot with Laura Petty
Yes.
as Penelope in the movie
Yes.
isn't an actual movie. It was shot
Damn it.
specifically for this.
Well, good, because that's crazy to shoot. Like, a lot of movies will do this, a fake movie within a movie.
Yeah.
Well established.
Home Alone does it very well.
Yeah.
Both times. Yeah.
Not many will shoot something this absolutely unhinged, because on top of like the weird wine thing and the CD player. It's monochrome where like the background is all blue, like his whole house is blue.
Yeah.
But then they're both dressed in matching blue outfits, but they're clearly on like a first date. It's absolute madness.
It seems like they're at his house, but it is like a first date kind of a thing.
His house looks like a James Bond villain's home, but they're just having like an awkward Netflix and chill.
Paige, he's bald Billy Zane in a smoking jacket and slippers. This might be a James Bond movie where he is the villain.
No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to sponge and just like...
That's a horror virgin joke. Oh, man. What movie was that? It's so great.
That's Demon Knight.
Demon Knight.
Demon
Guys,
Knight.
if you want to see Billy Zane be the most charming Billy Zane you've ever seen on screen, watch Demon Knight.
Or if you just want a good time, watch Demon Knight. Demon Knight fucking slaps.
It does slap.
There is a weird petition that I don't know if it already happened or not, but people in the Facebook group were all going to like a horror convention where Billy Zane was signing, which, by the way, have been to multiples of those. And my favorite is that he tends to steal people's cell phones and take selfies of himself with them and then just hand the phone back. Hilarious.
That's awesome.
And not people who are like in line, just like people that he's like walking past is like, give me that. Honestly, every story I've heard of Billy Zane, hilarious. The one time I met him, he was super nice, left his pita bread at the store. We all ate it, whatever. But like the plan in the Facebook group was like, how do we convince him to go on the podcast? And I'm like, I think I might fangirl too much. Like, I don't know that I could keep my composure with Billy Zane, who is admittedly unhinged.
I probably would only be able to talk about the 1993 action war film Sniper, where he was a sniper with Tom Berenger.
Tom Berenger, one shot, one kill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a million questions.
So yeah, you can ask sniper questions. I'll ask questions about Demon Knight and Twin Peaks.
We're never going to get through it.
And we'll never once utter the word Titanic, ever.
So, Billy Zane, if you want to come on a podcast where we yell at you about Sniper and
About your
various
old
other
movies?
films, come on down.
Come on down. We'll let you take selfies. You can have our phones.
Just have them.
But the music turns from what seems to be music within the fake film to diegetic music within the scene because we pull back to reveal that they are at a giant drive-in theater.
Yeah.
I think this might be the Santa Fe Springs drive-in theater, which is actually a little closer to Long Beach, but there is a giant former drive-in theater that they sometimes still show movies at, but usually is a swap meet now.
Cool.
But I think that's where they are.
Yeah.
But they pull back, and it's so old that they've got the speaker box
In the car. Yeah, it's like
In the
hanging
car.
on his rear view. Yeah.
And he's like, hey, get in the back seat. Let's hook up. It's the drive-in. I feel like that's why most people go to the drive-in, for the privacy of your vehicle.
To have sex at the drive-in, like you could just look over and see people having sex in the car next to you. Like you would just see all that.
But you're not, because you're too busy having sex. See, that's the key. If everyone's having sex, no one notices anyone else having sex.
I think you're making a lot of assumptions about if Todd would have been having sex if he was around this age at a drive-in. And the answer would be no.
Well, I think there are other reasons for that.
Yeah, 100%.
Because there would have been 4 other people in the car.
Exactly.
You're like, this is a date, right?
And 3 of those other people would have been dudes.
Yeah. Well, that's okay. So perfect soaking scenario is that like you guys get in the back and get the 3 guys to shake the car.
You just go to a drive-in and you see like there are 3 cars randomly in the parking lot with 2 dudes jumping, one on the hood, one on the trunk. And then you can just see people not moving in the back.
Perfect. But she's like, I'm not ready to get in the back seat yet. Go get me some popcorn. Go get me some jujubes. Whatever.
I'm going to be honest with you. She requests a lot of food from this snack kind of situation. Like, I would be like, all right, that's a lot of food. Happy to get you all that food. But is this your dinner? Because then I'm going to get something that's like a dinnerish kind of food.
Right.
If you want to go out after this, we could go out after this. But like, do you really need 9 things, Janet?
I need the popcorn and the jujubes and then the nachos, just the cheese, but like only the cup of the cheese.
Which you could probably get. That might be like in a squeeze off to the side with the condiments. You know what I'm saying? Like you might be able to squeeze that.
Yeah. If they've got a squeezer, for sure. But if they've got those little pudding packs that you just want to like knock a whole thing of cheese back, you got to ask for that special.
Oh, I guess those are ramekins. I always thought those were shot glasses.
It could be. Anyway, he goes to get snacks and he passes 2 guys at like the arcade attached to the snack area of the drive-in.
Yeah.
And as he passes, they're like, isn't that the guy that we got in a fight with at the mall? And they're like, I don't know. Is he? I swear that's him. Maybe it's him.
One of the guys, the guy who's playing the game is like, I don't know, man. It might be him, might not be. He's like not really into it.
Right. Shut the fuck up. I've got Gallagher to do.
Yeah, I know exactly.
Gallagher.
Who knows?
Who knows?
But the other guy was like, no, that's definitely him. But I don't even know the guy's name, but Janet Jackson's boyfriend at the time, as he's done ordering.
Yes.
And he like starts to go back where he would be walking by them again.
Mm-hmm.
Another fight breaks out that kind of like pulls focus.
Yeah.
And so he's able to go back to the car, but now Janet Jackson's in the back seat already. She's like, hey, why don't you join me back here?
Hello.
And like she's like unbuttoning her shirt a little bit, but she was like about to unholster those little puppies. But
somebody else unholstered something behind.
yeah, somebody else unholstered a gun and shoots him in the back of the head. So, and honestly, it wasn't 2004 yet, so she wasn't going to unholster anything.
No. And also she didn't. Justin Timberlake did. We owe her an apology.
We do as a society.
Completely.
Yeah.
But I could not stop thinking about how horrific that would be for Janet Jackson, which she is lucky she did not also get injured.
Well, I think that's why they put her in the back. So like it's plausible that they could have only shot once and it wouldn't have hurt her.
Right.
But like, I mean, if they are going to shoot him, are they only going to shoot once? Like I could see her fearing for her life in that moment still, you know?
Sure. Well, I was worried that the bullet would go through and hit her.
Well, that's why they put her in the back and he's still in the front seat when he gets shot.
Well, yeah, but he's like leaning in, at least the way the camera focus is.
Yeah.
Because the camera wants to get the gun, his head, and her all in the same shot.
And they do.
So it looks like they're all on the same line of fire.
Yeah.
But not only that, at that close of range, that paints the inside of that car. That if she did not get hit by a bullet, she would be hit by fragments of bone.
Yeah.
Like what a horrifying thing to witness. The fact that it only happened a few months ago and she's just back at work, kudos, I guess. But like,
it would be like standing right next to Gallagher as he smashes a watermelon. Like, I know that's like a crass and terrible way to think about it, but she would be hit with debris. And that's terrible. Like when it's like, how many months later is it? It doesn't even seem like it's like years.
It doesn't say. I mean, I would assume it's within the 2 years since her mother died.
Right.
Or grandmother died, I should say.
Yeah. Well, which was more or less her mom, because her mom took her own life when she was 12.
Right.
So it's like she's had a cacophony of very sad events. But I would be messed up for a while if this person that I love's brains were on me at some point. I don't know if I would recover anytime soon.
No, and not only that, like, I know she's only seen Tupac driving the mail truck, but when she eventually gets to Tupac's home and sees what he actually drives, I feel like it's going to be an issue because he drives basically the same car in yellow, like a very unique looking car.
Yeah.
We'll get to it. But cut to title card. Like that's, you know, how we're starting the movie. This is the cold open. Hell of a cold open.
Yeah. It does a really good job of setting the scene, man. It's really good.
Right. And his name is Markel, by the way, the boyfriend that is shot.
Janet Jackson's boyfriend? Yeah, okay.
Yes.
I mean, he dies in the first like 3 minutes. So like Yeah.
But the way they bridge the gap between that cold open and present day is a poem about being alone.
Yeah.
Nobody can make it out here alone. And we cut to the salon where she works. Or I guess beauty school first and then the salon where she works.
Yeah.
Where she's like loading the heads into the trunk and stuff. But as she's kind of driving from cosmetology school to the salon, she's passing a lot of local landmarks and just kind of to get like a survey of the neighborhood of Crenshaw. And she sees people being, you know, harassed by the police. There's stop and frisk. It's a whole thing. But then she gets to the salon that does hair and nails. And I do want to point out, because our first shot of the salon is a set of nails, but this is 1992. And as a nail girly, that means it is either acrylic over natural, which means you have to grow your nails out that long, hard to do, or it's sculpted acrylic because they didn't have gel the way we have it yet, or it's silk, which is probably not. I would say this is probably sculpted acrylic, and that's fucking hard to do. Like, it's not a look that everyone wants, but it takes an enormous amount of skill to do it.
I mean, they show it in the movie, like they're showing it off, so that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, but she shows up and they're talking, all the other girls at the salon are talking about somebody else who is scared and wearing sunglasses. It seems like that person may have been a victim of domestic violence. We never know because we don't know who it is.
Yeah.
They are not a character in the movie. We are just dropped in medias res of what this salon is like.
Yeah.
But Janet Jackson comes in and is like, are you guys, do you talk about me when I'm not there? And they're like, yeah, of course.
Yeah, we absolutely do. Are you kidding me? Your boyfriend's head got blown off and you were inches away from his face. We talk about that shit all the
We talk
time.
about it all the time, right? Of course, we feel bad for you.
Yeah,
and we
it's
love you.
terrible. We're worried about you, but like, yes, we talk about it. Yeah. Yeah, so sorry. We have to. I hope you're talking about it.
Right. Regina King's already there because she's there for Janet to do her hair, and she
Yeah.
brought her hair with her 2 bags of hair.
And it's very clear she probably is also a customer, but they're very close friends too.
So, yes, this was a little unclear because Regina is also going to the hair show with them,
Yes.
which makes me think that either she is an employee of the salon in some capacity and maybe this is her day off,
Maybe she does nails or something.
right?
Yeah.
Or something. But then later, when Chicago is yelling at her, he's acting like she has that she doesn't have a job at all. And I'm like, okay, but she is like going to this hair show and stuff, and she knows the boss, and the boss kind of treats her the same as Janet Jackson. And so like, I feel like maybe she is one of the other chairs in the salon
Yeah.
or does nails or something.
Yeah.
And Chicago is just invalidating that as a real job because he sucks.
That's the way I read it.
Yeah.
Although I don't think they ever confirm what her job is, but I read it she was employed by that salon.
Right.
Because Miss Booty does talk to her like she's an employee,
Yes. Yes.
which is probably not that character's name, but it was their license plate.
Yeah. It was her license plate.
Yeah.
I do love that.
Yeah.
But she's setting up to kind of get Regina started with her hair, but she comes over and Janet Jackson is like handling some of the mail and administrative tasks for the salon.
Yeah.
It seems like Janet Jackson's been there a while and knows the owner very closely, and that's why she trusts her to do some of that stuff.
I like the owner character a lot. I
Yeah.
feel like she is just very honest and has a very specific point of view and may or may not be right, depending upon your outlook on life, I guess. But I felt like she was just kind of a badass who owned her own business and was very opinionated and would tell you. But like still, also, if you disagreed, would be like, cool.
Yeah.
Whatever, like.
I do love that she seems to have like ensnared the neighborhood children to go get her honey buns and Big Reds, which, hey, that's like, when you feed peanuts to crows so they'll bring you presents. Like that seems to be her relationship with them, because we find out later in the movie, those are not her children.
No,
She is not a mother.
no, she's
Those
not.
are just kids who are around that she's like, you better bring me my change. And you're like, if she can get them to bring change back, that woman is intimidating.
Yeah.
That is incredible.
Yeah.
But she sends them out. And this is where Janet Jackson is like, well, where were you? What did you do last night? And now I have to talk about the most infamous Los Angeles landmark that is discussed and mentioned in this film.
Okay.
And that is the Snooty Fox Motor Inn. This is a very real place.
Okay, hang on. Is that where Tone Loc lives?
No, nobody lives there.
Oh, okay, okay.
No.
This is not where Tupac's ex lives, or
No.
okay.
No. The Snooty Fox Motor Inn, for much of its tenure, was rented hourly.
It sounds like it would be.
Yeah, it does have mirrors on the ceilings, but it also has, in the showers, multiple shower heads angled at genital height. It's that kind of place.
I get it. Yeah.
But it's one of the few that still exists in Los Angeles, because if you're wondering if it still exists, it do. And it went kind of viral a few years ago because a couple influencers went and stayed and were like, oh my God, this is a throwback, but it still exists. But then everyone found out it had bed bugs. And so I don't know if anyone's
Probably
been
more
there
than that.
recently. Yeah, probably more than that. But last I checked, Snooty Fox was still around. I meant to Google it for reviews before this. I ran out of time.
It definitely is still a place.
Yep.
It's on Yelp.
Yep. It looks rough. It is rough. I have driven past it many a time. I've never stayed, but I've driven past it because it's on the way to my favorite kitchen supply store. And it's a thing. Do they have a picture of any of the showers?
Can I just read you the most recent review and then I
Yes.
will look for a picture of the showers?
Thank you.
I'm not going to give this person's name away because I'm embarrassed.
Sure.
But this is what they say, and you can look it up yourself. Love the mirrored walls, ceilings, location, hot, large showers, porn, cleanliness. They just like ... like it continues. Like that's like they just drop it in like second to last mention.
Great.
Hilarious.
Great. Not a place you want to go sober. Just remember, the more you drink, the better everyone looks. Going to this place is like watching an old version of Jerry Springer. And for heaven's sake, someone please tell the girls to wear deodorant and take showers. This place reeks worse than a seafood restaurant. 1 out of 5 stars.
Gotta love the Snooty Fox.
Yep. Oh, been here many times. Love its iconic and retro atmosphere. And I love the showers. 5 out of 5 stars. 5 months ago on Google.
We can't keep talking about this, but I would say 6 of the 24 photos on their Yelp profile are just like family photos. There's a picture of someone's arm with bumps on it. It's kind of like...
That's the bedbug one.
Oh, yeah. It's got to be. Yeah, that's the bedbug photo for sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway, it's just very funny to me. But we cannot do a whole episode on the Snooty Fox. We can't do it.
Absolutely not. When they mentioned it, I was like, not the Snooty Fox motor in. And I was like, I have to tell Todd, this is a real place. It is infamous. But, and I do love that Janet Jackson responds in the moment of like, yikes. She's like, when was the last time you were there? She's like, I don't remember. Like, what? But also we see a guy bring his, well, they never establish. But a man brings a woman in and says, my girl needs her hair and nails done and without an appointment. Is he her boyfriend or are they in a money-making enterprise together? Who's to say? Who knows? We will never find out.
We don't find out.
They disappear from this film immediately.
Yeah.
But Janet Jackson is wearing a hat because she has not redone her braids since she has new growth. But this is where we find out that she's writing those poems that we're kind of hearing. Yeah. That do kind of play throughout the movie.
I do love how supportive her boss is of her poetry. How like Regina is also super supportive. They're like, oh, I love it. Read me some poems later. Like they're like jazzed about it. I loved that.
Look, if someone in your life was a poet that was as good as Maya Angelou, I'd want to hear those all the time.
That's fair. Yeah.
I'd be like, yeah, text me that.
She is like uncommonly good, you know?
I will say that our enemy in Vagine, somebody called him a poet the other day, and I was like, absolutely not. We're not doing that.
Was it himself?
I mean, yeah, probably. But like it was repeated back to me, and I was like, no. We refuse.
Absolutely not.
And then I texted to someone that his presence was a plague.
Paige, all I can think about right now really is just like you starting to get Maya Angelou texts that she's just like freestyling.
Oh my God. And then it turns out to be him? No,
just that it turns out to be her. I mean, you were like, if my friend was Maya Angelou and she could write poetry like that, text it to me. That'd be great.
I'd be exponentially more freaked out at that point because I'd be like, why did she choose me from beyond the grave? Like, this is upsetting. I do follow a man on TikTok that does an incredible Maya Angelou impression and reads modern songs as Maya Angelou.
Like in her cadence? That's great.
Absolutely. And he has the cadence nailed.
Yeah.
And it's a good time. Anyway, so the mailman's here. It's Tupac. And he comes up and he literally does try to kind of like, he's trying to flirt with her. He does start out on kind of a naggy note. And I think that's why she doesn't respond well to it because he's like, you never smile. Like,
I also think she's like in a pretty bad place. Like her boyfriend was just murdered close to her.
Right.
Like we could give her some time. I don't think she's ready for that, which is I think what they're trying to signify with her hair and the hat.
Well, and I don't think Tupac needs the stylings of pickup artist Mystery. And so I think this is him just like, I have noticed you do not smile.
Yeah.
But whenever people are telling women to smile, I'm like, shut up.
I mean, that's fair. Yeah.
I do love that she's like, what do you want? And he's like, I think you're kind of fly. I could start with your phone number. Maybe we could go out. And she's like, what's your name? And then she's like, what do you really want? And makes him come in like all close. She's like, you want to smell the punani? And I was like, oh man, in public, she's making him repeat this back to her. That's incredible. But it's just it's a setup. It's like a pass so that Jesse, the owner of the salon, can do a layup and be like, oh, you want to smell it? And then breathes on him to be like, it's on my breath. Get out of here. Like she's not gonna go out with you.
Yeah.
And it's clearly something they have rehearsed many times, and I love that about them.
I bet they have flipped roles before. Like they know
100%.
they know the bit and they know their part in it. You know what I'm saying? And I kind of love that.
Absolutely.
It was a fun reveal.
Yes.
I also would have liked it if like what she revealed was a grilled Italian sandwich and it was like, wait, did you say panini? My bad. I didn't realize that. I'm so sorry. I do love paninis, though.
Who doesn't? They're delicious.
Yeah, they're great.
Same with punani. A lot of people seem to like it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he leaves. He's like, okay, that was mean. You could have just said no, whatever. So he leaves. And we kind of follow him as he goes, which I do really like that that's kind of how the movie takes us from story to story and person to person, is like, we have followed her and now he's leaving. Now we're going to follow him.
Yeah.
Because he gets back to the post office and is like, I'm not going back to 101st. They got those dogs. And they're like, why didn't you mace them? He's like, I'm not macing dogs. What is wrong?
I think he says it's like Banaka to Rottweilers or whatever. Yeah.
It is. It's like Banaka to Rob, which also I was like, Banaka, that's something I haven't heard in a long time.
I know. And it's the second movie that Tone Loc is in that references Banaka, because he was in
True.
Ace Ventura, which also references Banaka.
Famously so. But this is also where we meet Chicago. Now, we also meet one of their other co-workers who's throwing darts at a picture of George H.W. Bush.
Yeah.
Because it's 1992, and what else are you going to do?
Right?
That co-worker is played by, this is one of the few fun facts I want to reveal just because it's crazy and I didn't realize it at the time. So that's Rene Elizondo Jr. is the name of that actor.
Okay.
He was married to Janet Jackson from 1991 to 2003, and that's how he ended up in the film.
What? Awesome.
Yes.
Okay.
So if you're wondering why that guy has like a handful of lines in this movie, that's why.
He was on set anyway because, her co-star's Tupac.
I mean, anyway, but this is where we meet Chicago and we find out that they're going to be taking one of the mail trucks from Los Angeles to Oakland to basically deliver mail. I guess they do it every couple, like they rotate on who does it and it happens every weekend, but it's not always them or something. There's some sort of internal mail system for them driving that truck up.
I had an issue with the device that gets us in the mail truck to go, just because why isn't Oakland's mail being sent to Oakland? And if it's being sent to LA for then LA to distribute up to Oakland, do people not send many letters to Oakland? Because there's 4 bags in the back. And
then when they get there, there's a whole cart. There's way more mail when they get there.
Yeah, it's very confusing.
I assume, maybe wrong. Hey, if you work for the Postal Service, tell me if I'm wrong. I assume that mail outside of a certain mileage radius travels by plane.
I'm sure that's true. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I would imagine that mail between Los Angeles and Oakland travels by plane, because while they are in the same state, it's a 5.5 hour drive minimum.
Yeah.
And I also kept thinking, I was like, how fast do mail trucks go? I don't think I've ever seen one on the freeway.
I've seen a ton.
Oh, really?
They have 18-wheelers because there's so much mail. That's my point.
Sure.
The only thing I could think that this could possibly be is misdelivered mail that should have gone to Oakland but ended up at the LA facility. And so it's it might not be a ton of bags, because it's just the overflow mail from that week that should have gone to Oakland. That kind of made sense to me. But they don't explain it.
Or maybe it's special overnight packages or something, because he does meet them that night to transfer the mail.
Yeah, it's true.
So, and it seems like he has to get there that night because they're waiting for him. So maybe this is some sort of weekend overnight specialty. I don't know.
Who knows? But they don't explain it. So I was just whatever. We're just along for the ride.
Right. Well, yeah. And the way they set it up is this truck has to go to Oakland. They'll change things out and then they load more stuff and then that comes back to Los Angeles. So for whatever reason,
yeah,
that happens. And they just assign various people to do it various weekends, and they have volunteered for this weekend so they could have a little trip up and back to Oakland. I'm assuming they're getting overtime or something, some benefit work-wise.
Probably.
And Tupac is I have to be in Oakland to record with my cousin. And then Chicago is my girl has a hair show up there, which is how we're starting to realize that his girlfriend, Isha, Regina King, is best friends with Janet Jackson, Justice. And that's how they're all going to end up on the road trip together.
Yeah.
So they didn't reveal all that yet. Tupac leaves and drives to an apartment complex. Essentially, the projects is basically where he drives.
Yeah.
And this is where Tone Loc is playing what I assume is the local street pharmacist, as he calls them in the film.
It seems like it. I mean, we see someone buy from him and he's mad at him for giving him change.
Yes, which I would be too. But it seems like there's a differentiation between Tupac's baby mama, same lady.
Yes.
Seems like she's doing harder stuff. He's selling lighter stuff. I don't know if that's true, but that is how the movie seems to portray it, because they're both there to kind of make sure their kids are okay because they believe she's in a pattern of addiction and will neglect them.
And it does seem like that might be the case.
Yeah, that is what I read from that scene.
Yeah.
I was glad that he took Keisha with him.
Yes.
So he brings Keisha home. We're going to come back to this later.
Yeah. We don't really get where he lives yet, but we do see
Right.
that later.
In just a scene or two.
Because I think right now it cuts back to Janet Jackson, right? At the salon.
Yeah, it cuts back to Janet Jackson doing Regina King's hair at the salon,
Yeah.
reading her poems, and Chicago pages her, and she goes to call him back. But while that's happening, on the salon phone, one of the other stylists is on the phone getting very bad news. They don't tell us what the news is.
They never do.
I have theories, but they don't tell us.
Yeah.
So Regina King has to go out to the payphone. But this is where at the payphone, we find out the gambit of like, they're going to go to Oakland. You can come with us because you have to be there for the show and whatever. Meanwhile, back in the salon, they're having a hard phone call. And the salon owner is like, do you want to talk about it? Do you want to tell me about it? What do you think happened?
I mean, it was the early 90s. I was afraid it was AIDS. Yeah.
That's what I thought it was, 100%.
But they never reveal it.
They never reveal it. But he's very upset and kind of gets in a fight.
He kind of lashes out. Yeah.
With one of the other stylists, which I have never had stylists fight over my head before. And that would be terrifying. There's a lot of hot stuff around and things that I could get hit with.
Oh, yeah. I mean, in worst case scenario, they've got scissors in their hands, you know?
Right. Or clippers.
Yeah.
At minimum, a brush. I have been hit with a brush.
Same, of course.
For a while, we had a relative who was a hairstylist, and that's where my mom would take me because Great Clips had done me wrong too many times, and she was like, well, I'll just take her to this family member.
They really should rename that store to Meh Clips.
Meh Clips. Well, it's because I had too much hair. My hair is very thick and very curly, and they didn't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
And so they took me to our Italian relative who would try to brush through my hair and be like, you have too much hair, and then would hit me on the back of the head with a brush. And everyone just felt like that was okay. But she did do great hair. So
I guess the child abuse was worth it, Paige.
I was like 12.
So a child?
Yeah. But enough of a child that I could have stood up and been like, please stop hitting me with the brush. But her blowouts were so good that I was like, the price of beauty.
Yeah. They say beauty hurts, Paige.
Yep. And she was right. My hair was very thick. So, I'm sure her arms were tired. Not to say it's okay to hit children. I'm just saying I allowed it to have good hair at that point.
It was a trade-off your mom was willing to make.
Oh, my mom would leave me there. I'm sure my mom is hearing this for the first time. It was like, she was hitting you? And I'd be like, yeah, but like.
Worth it, right? You saw the photos. Come on.
Right? Anyway, so she basically sets up that they're going to go to Oakland. Janet Jackson is not going to go with them initially.
No, she's like, I don't want to go on a work trip. I don't want to drive up with people I don't know. Like, it does sound terrible. I wouldn't want to do that either.
Yeah, because you're trapped in a vehicle.
Yeah.
Anyway, she goes home. We do see Regina King go home and like hook up with Chicago.
Yes, it very clearly is Chicago, though.
Yeah.
Because I thought back to this moment when she says that she's sleeping with somebody else.
I did too.
But no, it is very clearly Chicago. He has a Chicago Bulls hat on because they really want you to know it's Chicago.
Look, in 92, everyone had Chicago Bulls hats on. Although that one kid from the very first cold open has a hat that just says South Central Los Angeles. And I love that hat. I think that's a wild hat to wear.
I mean, his hat was the location of the movie.
Yeah. Honestly, the only way it could have been better is if instead of using the title card that said South Central Los Angeles, they had just had a close on that kid's hat and then pulled out.
And then you saw another guy who was just walking by in the background that says directed by John Singleton.
Yeah.
On his hat.
A lot of wild hats at this drive-in.
What is this, 30 Rock?
Right? But we then cut to Janet Jackson, who at first I was like, how does she have such a big house by herself?
Yeah.
And it is one of the like craftsman style houses in that part of Los Angeles. And I'm like, those are so hard to buy now.
Yeah.
Like a lot of families pass them down or whatever. And so they're not often available. So people buy them and flip them. And it's like a whole thing.
I mean, we find out what happened. That's what happened here.
Yeah.
We don't find that out yet, but.
We do watch her put Frank's Red Hot on popcorn. Hell yes.
Paige.
Hell yes.
Listen, I came to this late. It was like my first job out of college, and I smell popcorn in the break room, and I walk in and I see ladies pouring Frank's Red Hot on popcorn, and I was like, you guys are putting hot sauce on popcorn? And they were like, I'm going to change your life.
Oh.
And they did. I have Frank's Red Hot in my
Buddy.
pantry still.
Buddy, you want to kick it up a notch? Pickle juice. Pickle juice and Frank's Red Hot.
F that. I hate pickles. That's a me thing, though. I can't do pickles.
Well,
I can't.
Here's my thing is, I hate the texture of pickles. I'm iffy on the taste.
For me, it's the vinegar. Ugh, can't do it. It's a me thing, though. I get you're allowed to like pickles, guys. Calm down.
Pickle juice, popcorn, and Frank's Red Hot has kind of the effect of like a spicy salt and vinegar chip.
You just described
I
my
know.
least favorite chip.
I know, but for other people out there,
My least favorite potato-based chip.
yeah, for other people out there, you might be into it. I love me a salt and vinegar chip.
Yeah.
Anyway, and I was like, where is this house? And then I heard the helicopters. I was like, Los Angeles.
For sure.
We hear them constantly. I don't know if you remember when Mikey stayed here, but we recorded here the last time you guys were in Los Angeles and how many times we had to stop
Yeah.
for helicopters.
Yeah.
Constant. I do live near a hospital. That is part of it.
Yeah.
Anyway, she's burning her ends of her braids because she's got the hair show tomorrow, so she had to make sure her hair was all done. Then we cut to Tupac going home to his house where his mom, and she is only in this single scene of the movie, is played by legend Jennifer Lewis.
Yeah.
And she basically just delivers an insane monologue. And then he's like, I guess I'm going to have to figure my life out and how I'm going to care for Keisha. And then she's gone from the movie, just gone. Just here to be legendary for a moment.
She does drop a lot of like knowledge.
Oh, yes.
The preacher's wife does. I loved her. Time ain't forever. I loved that line. I thought it was great.
Time ain't forever is an incredible line.
I know. I mean, I'm sure John Singleton wrote it, but like she delivers it great. But I just loved that line. I was like, damn, that's so funny. And she's like talking to him like, you got to figure your life out and stop playing video games all day. Like, you know, and she makes it very clear that, yeah, it's fine if her granddaughter lives there, but she is no longer a parent.
Right.
She makes that very clear, which I think is also fine. Like Tupac is her dad, you know?
Yeah. I also found it very funny because I was like, well, who's going to watch her while he's gone in Oakland for the weekend? And I was like, it was the 90s. When people just left children at home all the time.
I mean, it probably would have been her grandmother, you know, Tupac's mom.
I'm sure she's like saying this, but then is also definitely going to watch the granddaughter that she loves very much. Yeah.
That's the vibe I got. It's like when your dad, when you were a kid, was like, no, we can't get a dog. I don't want a dog. And then you get a dog 2 years later, and then it's like
Dad's dog.
Yeah, it's like the dad's dog. It's like one of those kind of situations. I realize that's probably the worst example because we're talking about humans, but you know what I'm saying? Where she's like, fine, she can live here, but I ain't taking care of her. But the second she needs anything, that grandma's going to hop into action. You know what I'm saying?
When my best friend had her son, I remember her mom was very kind of anxious about it and was like, I'm not going to raise this baby for you. And she was like, Mom, I'm like a grown up and employed. That's not a risk. Like I'm 31. Like, I don't know what this conversation should take place when I'm 16, but I'm an adult. And of course, no sooner had that baby been born that they were like, we moved 3 doors down from you. Like they wanted to see and be with that kid as much as possible.
Yeah.
So
you might say it's their kryptonite.
Ooh.
Little 3 doors down reference. But we gotta move on though, Paige.
Yeah, we're making good time. But
We are, yeah.
Anyway, we cut to the next day where Janet Jackson's getting up, getting ready to leave. She feeds her cat. The cat's name is White Boy. I love that so much.
I thought it was cute, yeah.
And it's just a white floofy kitty. I love him. I hope he's okay while she's gone because she seems to care about him very much, and I like that a lot.
Yeah.
But her car won't start. So she calls Isha and is like, fine, I'll come with you guys, but then realizes that the guy driving the, mail truck that she's going to have to now take to Oakland is the guy who hit on her at work. And she's like, oh, man.
Yeah, it is kind of like a forced double date, or it's like a forced road trip. You know what I'm saying? Where like Aisha is clearly with Chicago and they're going to be canoodling in the back while you're sitting in the front with this guy who did hit on you in a way that was not super great. And you also sort of played a prank on. So like there's like an immediate enemies vibe between them, which makes me like the enemies to lovers trope even more.
Sure, absolutely. But we start off with Chicago and Isha are in the back, canoodling, making out, doing whatever.
Just crushing those packages as they lay on them.
Yeah. Oh, you wanted to send your cookies to your grandchild? Not today. Just crush.
I would have lost my mind if they were just like eating like cookies or something. Like
they get up and it's like fragile, but it's all smashed. Yeah.
Hilarious. That's a real Ace Ventura vibe. Not to bring Tone Loc back into it, but
They're just like throwing mail out the back of the truck. They're like, tax returns. Just toss it. But Tupac, Janet Jackson in the front of the car, and he's like, you're quiet. And she's like, I don't have anything to say. And he's like, why are you so mean? And she's like, I'm not mean. And it immediately becomes an argument. But it is definitely because he's stressed out about all the stuff we just saw. He's got to figure out what he's going to do for Keisha. He wants to do music. He doesn't want to work for the post office forever. Everyone disses them for working at the post office, but the post office pays really well. Like, of the government jobs, it's not a bad one.
and they have a pension. You can be in a union. He even mentions
Yeah.
being in the union. Like, I never thought of it being a bad job.
No.
There's a song about it, Mr. Postman.
There is indeed. But he and Janet Jackson immediately are fighting because he's all stressed out. She's stressed out because she's like, I'm not fully healed from losing my boyfriend. I'm not ready to date again, but everyone's kind of pressuring me to. But I am alone and I feel alone.
Yeah.
And I wish I had someone. So they're both dealing with their own things. And in the moment are like, can you just not? I'm trying to deal with my things.
Right?
Basically.
Yeah. And so this leads to a huge fight because they can't communicate very well.
Right. And he does leave her on the side of the road.
And drive away. I was shocked he drove away. I was like, oh.
When he's mad, he's like, yeah, she could walk. I was not surprised to see that they go back and get her,
Of course.
obviously.
Yeah, it's Janet Jackson. You do not leave her on the side of the road.
No, and I think this is why it's such a noticeable difference when they do not go back and get Chicago.
Well, Chicago had hit a lady in the face.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
Janet Jackson had just stood up for herself. I feel like those
Right,
are
right.
two different things.
Two different things.
So yeah, I wouldn't go pick up Chicago either.
Right.
Who am I, Scottie Pippen?
Anyway, she climbs into the back. So now she and Isha, aka Regina King, are hanging out in the back. The boys are in the front. They stop at a rest stop. Now, oddly enough, the rest stop they stop at is further down PCH than the place where they stop and leave Chicago when they say they're only 15 miles to Oakland.
Right.
Which is hilarious to me. But this is kind of a notable rest stop because it's one of the only ones for like 60 miles on this one stretch of
Yeah.
the PCH.
This is the one you go to the bathroom at, because if you don't, it's going to be 2 hours before you can go again.
Right. And this one's actually inland. I think it's actually not on the PCH directly, but it's on one of the like side roads that you would take between 5 and PCH.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they stop and the girls go in and immediately Isha is grabbing beers, drinks, gin, juice. They don't have Old English, so she can't get 40s for Chicago. But basically, the plan is, at least in Chicago and Isha's mind, they're going to get drunk while Tupac drives, Lucky drives.
Like the whole way, it seems.
Yeah.
Because they're driving this in one day. You know, it's a
Yeah.
1 day trip up there. And so they're getting drunk at the beginning of it. Like he's like, have fun working all day, bro. I'm getting shit-faced with my girl.
Yeah. And Janet Jackson is also not really drinking. She's like, this is not the trip I want to have. And maybe you shouldn't drink so much. It's the middle of the day. We're just going to be in this truck all day. Do we really need to drink for that? It's like a whole thing. And they do get fun little squirt guns.
Yeah.
That's fun.
I thought it was cute with them fighting with them.
Yes. And they get Cheetos. I love seeing the original Cheetos packaging. Do you remember when Cheetos looked like that?
No, but I was like, whoa, that's an old branding. You can tell.
Yep.
I was like, Cheetos must have been new.
They'd been around for a while, and I only know that because there used to be a History Channel show where people would be like, I've saved this Cheeto bag since 1979. Let's taste it. And then miraculously, they all got food poisoning every time.
Imagine that.
Imagine that. Didn't last. It was like 1 or 2 seasons, maybe.
Welcome back to Give Yourself Diarrhea. This week we've got Paige with a bag of Cheetos from 1964.
Don't threaten me with a good time. I also found out the other day that Doritos were invented in Disneyland. Did we talk about this on the other pod?
You mentioned that. Yeah, I did not look it up, but
Either way, cool old chip bag in this movie.
yes.
But they're doing mixers in the back because they aren't afraid of open container laws. Who's going to pull over a mail truck? Nobody.
Right?
Brilliant. It's its own party bus.
Exactly.
Anyway, immediately, Isha's getting very drunk. And in part because she has Chicago drink a bunch of the juice. She drinks a bunch of the juice. So it's like half full. And then she fills the rest up with gin. And then she's the only one drinking it.
Yeah, it's like half and half.
Yeah.
Like half and half juice and gin. Or you might say gin and juice.
Gin and juice.
Right.
I do love gin and juice. It is a fun drink.
The song also slaps.
Yeah. However, gin is strong, and she also has already, like, he had a Miller Lite. She's drinking some of it. So she's very rapidly consuming a lot of alcohol.
Yes.
But this is where they smell the barbecue from that family reunion from the freeway. That's how you know it was good.
That would be a difference between this barbecue and the barbecues that I
didn't want to bring it up earlier,
Yeah.
but yeah, I bet the food is better at this one.
I mean, you'd be like, do you guys smell mac and cheese and apple pie? Like, it'd probably be that.
I mean, no offense. Trust their mac and cheese, probably.
Paige, I know enough to know that.
And potentially their cobbler instead of pie. But they pull off and they're like, it's a huge family reunion. We'll just blend in. And I really like this sequence because it very quickly reveals who each of the four of them are.
Yeah. I love it too. And they do just like become part of this extended family reunion.
Yep.
And they're like meeting people and putting in time and like getting to know them.
Cousin Pete.
Yeah. It's kind of great.
Yeah.
It's like the best way to crash a family reunion.
Absolutely.
Because you are like just visiting with people and having a great time and like being nice. I don't know. I loved it.
Yeah. But this is also where they kind of split off a little bit, where Regina King ends up, she basically, in their lies about who they are and how they are family, says that she and Chicago are married, but then she keeps drinking and forgets the lie and can't keep the lie up.
Yeah.
But this is when she sits down with all the aunties, and it's Maya Angelou.
Well, one of the three, yes.
One of the three, who is basically just like, she ain't married. She's not married. Like, not that girl.
And Maya Angelou's only saying that because Regina King's not wearing a wedding ring and is hitting on somebody else.
Yeah, that if she was at this reunion, might be family. Like, that's the other, like.
I think the lie was that Tupac was in the family and they were friends of his that came with him.
I think so. Yeah.
So I think, man, I hate that we're figuring this out, but I think she is dateably okay in this scenario.
Right. Sure.
Unlike the cousin who actually is a part of the family that we meet a lot of. Yeah.
Cousin Pete, who's like, how close are we related?
He's like, hey, if we're third cousins, we should bang. And I was like, I don't think that's the right thing to say at a family reunion.
Third cousins is legal. That's enough genetic difference that there would not be issues. But at the same time, that's a wild opener.
I definitely think your opener for should we have sex or not is we're related, right?
We're related, right?
Like you expect the answer to be yes, but that's not a deal breaker. I'm out.
Me rolling up to a giant Italian reunion, like, we all saw the Borgias, right?
Yeah.
Like, we cool.
Honestly, Borges is great.
Yeah, I just did a rewatch because Heated Rivalry, but whatevs.
Come on, Cesare. Yeah, he's in Heated Rivalry.
Come on, Cesare.
Yeah.
Anyway, meanwhile, Janet Jackson and Tupac go off where he goes and eats a ton of food. And honestly, it's one of those moments where I was like, I don't know if he's acting in this moment. He seems to just be so stoked to be at this potluck, and it looks incredible. I was like, I want to go to this potluck right now. I'm so hungry.
It looks like everyone's having a great time. I really did love it. And the food looked really good.
But she's kind of playing with, she's got like she holds somebody's baby. She plays with a group of little girls where they're like braiding hair and stuff, where she's kind of ingratiating herself into the family part.
Yeah.
And he's like sitting with the uncles, just like, what are you up to? What are you up to? And they kind of talk a little bit about their respective families, where she's like, I don't really have a family, so I don't really have this or experience this. And he's like, I love this. My family is stressful, but I love them. And so by extension, I'm really enjoying this too. But it's a very clear indicator of like, because she's like, I don't have any kids. I don't even like them. And he's like, I think you're lying because.
Well, because she had just been playing with that kid and doing her hair.
Right.
And like she was great with that child. So like,
right.
It's clear Janet Jackson liked kids, but like maybe isn't ready for them in this moment, but
right.
is great with them.
Well, and it's in the context of she's like, I bet you have a kid and you just haven't told me about it. And he kind of is evasive. Yeah.
That is true. She did sort of bring that up. Yeah.
Right. But unfortunately, they got to go because Isha is like hitting on that one guy. He comes over. Maya Angelou sees it. Tupac and Janet Jackson see it. And they're like, oh, we got to.
Janet Jackson tries to go save it. Like she goes over there and is like, hey, I got to talk to you real quick. And like pulls Regina King off of the other guy who's not Chicago, trying to diffuse it before it even happens. Because if Chicago sees it, it's going to end up how it ends up. And Regina King like fights herself away from Janet Jackson. And she's like, stop trying to ruin my game or something like that. Making it clear that like she was trying to like hook up with that dude.
Right.
Which is nuts because she's literally 5 hours away from home and her boyfriend's with her.
Right.
It just seems like the wrong time to cheat on somebody. I don't know. It seemed insane to me.
Yeah.
But she is drunk. So
she's very drunk. So they kind of have to like fight/drag her away back into the mail truck where unfortunately she and Chicago are fighting. And it is like drunk girl starting fights where like, this is why I stopped hanging out with people who drink. Like this stuff right here. And it's because, and somebody could be perfectly nice sober. But then the second they get a couple drinks in them, they're like, I'm going to do crazy stuff. I'm going to start a fight. I'm going to do whatever. And it's like, I can't be around you if that's going to. There was a girl in our sorority who perfectly nice outside of this. The second that girl drank, she started punching people.
that escalated quickly.
And kicking people because she was like 5'10" or something crazy and had like an insane wingspan. And it was like instant. It was like a fucking light switch that girl would just fight people. And like it became a problem.
No, if you go from we didn't start the fire sober to we're gonna start a fire when you start drinking, you've got to stop.
In my experience, drinking often reveals a lot of things that you feel and keep bottled up, right? It brings a lot of stuff out that maybe you smash down inside when you're not drinking. And so the idea that she was just instantly like, I've got to fucking hit something. You're like, bitch, let's talk it out. Let's talk it out. Oof, magoof. And then she passed out at an IHOP.
Of course. But Paige, I've never drank a day in my life and I've passed out at so many Waffle Houses and IHOPs.
Right?
And like, yeah.
That's what they're there for.
Yes. Any 24-hour establishment that serves food, I have probably fallen asleep in at some point.
Yep. Anyway, they're fighting in the mail truck. She's gone full Christie at this point.
Yeah. I mean, and they're driving on the road at this point, but at some point it gets so bad they have to pull over at the most beautiful spot on the PCH.
Oh my God. Oh my good. And it is basically the part of the PCH that goes through Atascadero is where it is. So if you want to go visit it, you can.
If you want to go watch where Chicago physically assaulted his girlfriend, Regina King, check out the PCH.
Check out the PCH.
It's a terrible scene because he does hit her. It is a very pretty shot. Like the scenery is beautiful.
Well, and okay, here's what's crazy. We aren't at that point exactly yet. We're coming up on it.
Fair, okay.
Because they pull over because she's like, they're having a fight and she's like, I gotta pee. And Janet Jackson's like, I gotta talk to her we gotta diffuse this, right?
That's right. She diffuses it first.
She does barf and then later tries to kiss Chicago with the barf mouth, which is real gross. But
Ugh.
Janet Jackson goes and is like, hey, this is why we don't hang out because you do this. And I feel like it's a problem in your life. And it reminds me of my mom and it makes me uncomfortable. And that's why I don't hang out with you that much. And all I could say was valid conversation, wrong time to have it.
Yeah, because she's still kind of drunk. She actually does handle it really well for being drunk, but she is not going to remember it. And that is the problem. Yeah.
No.
You're right.
You're going to have this conversation again tomorrow at a diner while you're feeding her cheesy eggs to soak up all the booze.
Yeah.
You know, crap the booze out and then you're good.
Crap in a mint.
Yep. Anyway, they get back in the mail truck and they start to leave. And she and Tupac do have like some time to talk and whatever. They stop at like a picnic table where he's playing the music that his cousin makes.
Yeah.
And Chicago's like, it's not that good. And he's like, who are you to say it's good or not? You don't do anything. And he's like, I dress. And he's like, so you buy clothes that other people like.
Yeah.
That's not the same as being creative yourself. Like there is some creativity in putting those things together.
Yeah, I think he does a good job of putting it together, but he's not the designer of the clothing. I 100% agree.
Right. There's a difference, right? And Tupac is like, this guy's like making his own beats and like writing his own lyrics. And that's something I would like to do. And I think that's really cool. And how dare you shit on it? So they get into kind of a tiff. So now it's Tupac and Janet Jackson in the front seat and Chicago and Isha in the back seat. And we then get voiceover of everyone's inner monologue.
I know, right?
Which is wild. And it's all like non sequiturs because that's the way you think when you're on a road trip and just sitting and quietly like ruminating to yourself in the car. And so she's just like, why didn't I fucking go to college? Like, Like, grandma wanted me to. I could have done other things. What about him? No, he's probably got kids. I don't know. And then he's like, she's kind of cute. Maybe I should try to make it happen. Like, maybe we can make something happen. And then in the back, we then get to Chicago, who's like, I've got to pick up my clothes from the cleaners. And that's his only thought.
Yeah.
That's his only thought.
They don't do Chicago great in this movie. He's not a great dude.
No. But then we cut over to Isha, who's like, when we get back, I'm going to call Terry and I got to get rid of this dude. And then Chicago's like, I'm going to dump her. I'm going to find another girl. Like, we're breaking up, whatever.
Yeah.
But then Janet Jackson goes back to like check on them and they switch. So he's in the front seat.
Yeah.
And this is where Isha's like, we're breaking up when we get back. And Janet Jackson's like, I think I should go on a diet. My butt's getting too big. And all I could think was like, no, she's gorgeous in this movie.
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about? Like,
Even Natalie was like, man, she's caked up. I literally said, yeah, I mean, from the waist down, she's a capital P. Like, you could ask Natalie. We had this conversation. She looks great in this movie.
she looks great in this movie. Multiple times before this point in the movie, I had said to myself, I wish my butt looked like that.
Of course.
Oh my gosh, she's gorgeous. Like,
Yeah.
incredible. And thankfully, Isha's like, no, we're not doing that. But we immediately stop in Seaside because they hear drums. And this is like an African cultural festival that's happening.
Yeah.
And now here's the thing. Being hungover from being day drunk and walking around in the sun, I understand not enjoying that experience. That's where Chicago and Isha are, and it's not going great. But meanwhile, Tupac and Janet Jackson she's like, I write poetry. That's in the book. And he's like, I kind of want to get more into music and like, what do you write about and all this stuff. And they're both are like, we're getting to know each other. This is great. Man, we fucking hate those two though. Like, what the fuck? So tired of them.
Well, and it's kind of already been revealed that like Lucky or Tupac and Chicago work together. They're not like friends.
Yeah.
They're like work friends.
Right. But they get back in the mail truck and they have fresh plums. Now, if you drive PCH at a certain point, you will get to Central California, which is where we grow all the fruits. And depending on what's in season, you could stop at fruit stands and get the freshest fruits you have ever had in your entire life. Incredible. Highly recommend. Just like stop off on the side of the road and be like, give me them strawberries and whatever. Like, it's delicious. But so she's eating the plums. They're having a good time. But in the back, they are fighting.
Yeah, like yelling at each other.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. They have sex first in the back.
Oh, that's right. I forgot they have sex.
And he comes like immediately, and that's what starts the fight.
Yeah. This is something she's talked about before because when they
She's complained about it.
Yeah, when they got on the first like rest stop to get snacks or whatever, she was like kind of bragging about how long he lasted. She was like, man, he lasts 2 minutes.
Yeah, 2 minutes.
It's great. It's so long.
And here's the thing. If you know that you ejaculate quickly, you finish quickly, spend some time foreplay.
Put in the work.
Hands, mouths, put the work in.
Put in the work.
I think that's more of her complaint is like, you don't care that I don't finish because you do.
It's a selfish problem. It's not a you're bad at sex problem, although the selfish problem makes you bad at sex kind of thing, you know?
Right. But he's also, because he's very self-absorbed, he's very conscious of his appearance, he's constantly brushing his fade. And so my favorite thing later is when Tupac throws his brush in the dirt.
I thought that shit was very funny, yeah.
I love that.
But literally every scene, he's like brushing his fade.
Constantly brushing his fade. But they pull over because now a fight has erupted in the back. And they like explode out of the back of the post truck. And at first they're just yelling at each other.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm fucking someone else. Now, admittedly, I think she is just saying this to hurt him. We have not seen this on screen.
Yeah, we've not seen any evidence of this being true.
Right? But instead of being hurt, he just hits her and hard.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh no, like, oh my God. And Janet Jackson immediately was like, holy shit, are you going to do something to Tupac? And he's like, this is their business. Not a great reaction.
It's not a great reaction. Yeah.
But then he's like beating the crap out of her. And so everyone gets out of the mail truck, or specifically Janet Jackson gets out first, tries to get between them. And then he hits Janet Jackson or tries to. He like knocks her down. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's when Tupac gets out of the car and is like, that's it. I'm leaving you on the side of the road. and we're going and you can't come with us. Here's your stuff. Bye.
Yeah. They throw his suitcase or like bag out the window. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that Regina King, as they do that, yells out, Dookie and Monster are going to shoot your ass. We'll cover that in fun facts. We'll get back to it.
Really? Okay.
Yes. They also throw his brush in the dirt. Love it. But this is also where they're like, walk the 15 miles to Oakland. And you're like, they're 190 miles from Oakland, but fine.
Yeah.
But they drive further down the highway and then they stop and he gets out to kind of look at the ocean. Because I think at this point he's like, this day has gone sideways.
Yeah, I mean, it really has gone sideways, you know?
Right.
Like his coworker, he just had to abandon because he assaulted his lady.
Right. And on top of that, so Janet Jackson gets out and they talk, and this is where they have their moment where they share a lot more about who they are and their lives, or at least she does. He does not share as much.
We get a lot of her childhood story,
Right.
kind of, and it's pretty sad.
Right.
Like, unlike Tupac, who had a big family, she didn't really. And, you know, there was a lot of death and sadness in her childhood.
Right. Her mom, unfortunately, takes her own life.
Yeah.
The reason she's named Justice is because her mom got pregnant when she was in law school. It was at this point in the film that I noticed they had changed out Tupac's nose jewelry.
Oh, really?
Yes, noticeably so, which I think is really interesting. So look for that. I'm not sure exactly where in the movie it happens, but this is where I noticed it.
Okay.
And then they make out on the beach. It's implied that they have sex. We don't see it on screen, but they do reference it as if that is what happened.
Yeah. I think it's pretty heavily implied.
Yeah, and Isha gets a chance to rest, and she needed it.
Yeah.
But now, the next thing we cut to is the Altamont. And so I'm like, okay, now they're on Highway 5, and they're only like 30 to 40 miles from Oakland, depending on where you're going in Oakland.
Right.
At that point. But they drive up to the neighborhood where his cousin lives in Oakland, and there are cops and ambulances. And he's like, let me go check on my cousin. He goes in the house. There's no one in the house. And you're like, oh no, that's not good. Maybe they're in the crowd watching. No.
Best case scenario, they're like, oh my God, someone shot our neighbor.
Right.
But no, it's worst case scenario. Someone shot his cousin.
Right.
And he arrives as he's dying on the gurney. Like, I think he's just died by the time he gets there. It's incredibly sad.
It's super sad. His cousin's dead. He then gets back in the mail truck because he still has to drop them off.
Yeah.
So he drops them off at the motel where her boss is. And as they get out, everyone is basically like, fuck this day. Like, oh my God. Like, it's heavy for everybody.
Yeah, they literally just witnessed a murder, even if they weren't like emotionally connected to it because they're like a member of the family.
Or witness the aftermath, but yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. It is the aftermath.
Yeah.
That's heavy, man. That's heavy.
Yeah, it's not good. And their boss is like, finally, you're here. And they're like, no, buddy. Like, first of all, Regina King got beat up.
Yeah.
She's still bleeding. We're going to have to figure that out. And then a guy died. And then, like, I might be in love with Tupac, but he's really going through it because he literally, like, out the window, because he was about to tell her about his daughter. And he kind of, like, starts to, like, when they're in Oakland, but then when they get back, he's literally like, if I hadn't been fooling around with you, if I hadn't stopped for you, I would have been here in time, which is not the reality. Like, you don't know. No one knows. You're not
Right.
psychic.
But he's literally just driven away from the scene his cousin was murdered at.
Right.
He shouldn't have said it. I agree. But like, I also, if he shows up like he does in this movie and apologizes, yeah, I get it, man. That was a rough day for you.
Rough fucking day.
Yeah.
In that moment, I think he's blaming himself and the reasons he stopped.
Yes.
But the reality is you stopped just as much, if not more, for the people fighting in the back of that mail truck than you did for you.
For
But
sure, that's true. Yeah.
in that moment, he's all turning inward or whatever. But they get to the hotel room, and this is where their boss at the salon gives them a speech that's not great, little victim blaming.
Yeah.
Not good.
Yeah. And it's also like, well, I mean, if you were going to break up with him, just use him for his money. It's like, it's not the best, like, take.
No.
But I really like this character. I think of her like an Al Swearingen. Like,
Yeah.
she's just looking out for herself and the people she loves, which, and I do think she loves Janet Jackson and Regina King.
Of course.
So
Yeah.
she's just like giving them her best advice. Like, if you've ever watched Deadwood, Al Swearingen gives tons of advice, and it's all like morally questionable.
Sure.
Sometimes it's great advice, sometimes it's terrible, but like she has a very specific point of view in this movie and is very true to herself, and I love that in a character.
Yes. I actually, when they reveal that he didn't have a credit card, and then she's like, oh oh my God, why did you put up with anything for him?
Yeah, why are you even with him? Like, yeah.
I was like, bad advice, but hilarious delivery. Thank you.
She's so good.
But we cut to the aunt and uncle's house the next morning where we find out that Lucky's name is Lawrence.
Yeah, I was like, oh, Tupac has my dad's name.
Lawrence. But he kind of sits down with them. His aunt is still kind of cooking. She's still kind of in shock, and they're trying to get her to kind of rest. It's a very sad scene.
I hate to say I loved this scene because it's so sad.
It's a great scene. It's acted so well.
Yeah, like the mother of the guy who was just murdered, who also has a guest in her house, is sort of reflexively making everyone breakfast because that's what she was. And she's just like trying to go about the normal plans of what would have happened to try and and she's doing such a good job of the like complex nature of that moment. And her husband, the uncle, is like, just sit down, babe. Like, please just sit down. Like, please.
Right.
We don't need you to cook. Tupac is even like, I'm not hungry. I'm just angry.
Yeah, how could I be hungry,
Yeah.
right? But this is where he asks about the equipment, and it is implied that they then give it to him.
We see him. I mean, we see the uncle, like,
Loading
as they're
it
saying
in.
goodbye, they're loading it into the UPS van or USPS van.
Yep. But then we cut to Janet Jackson, who has made her way home. It's implied that they both drove with the boss home.
Yes. Yeah.
But she's now back at her house, and instead of wearing the sweats and whatever she was wearing before, she's wearing like lingerie. She's doing her hair, she's getting dressed. We see her go to her closet, and it's all these black clothes, and it's almost like she was in mourning, and now she's going to open herself up to new possibilities, because even if Tupac's not the one, it made her feel that way that she hadn't felt in a long time, and maybe it's time to go back out into the world and show up in a way that opens yourself up to new possibilities.
I definitely think that's what the movie is like showing us.
Yeah.
And I kind of love it. It shows the like character development of her like growth throughout this movie.
Yeah. But we cut back to the salon where she's all dressed up now, and they are all being mean to this one girl that they then escort out to I want her story. That's the thing about John Singleton movies, is that like you're getting all these like the guy who gets the phone call and we never find out what's wrong.
I'm pretty sure his name's Haywood, but yeah, we never find out what's going on with him.
You never find out. This girl who's fighting with some other girl in the salon, and they're like, take it out to the street. We don't know who they are, but we got like a weird side fight from them or whatever.
Yeah.
But who should come to the salon but Tupac with Keisha so that she can do Keisha's hair? But also so that he could apologize to her. She just ends up doing Keisha's hair, which is very sweet.
She almost like volunteers because, he apologizes, which is appropriate because he does say some things he doesn't really mean. I do think it's very excusable because of what had just happened.
Of course.
And she definitely takes the apology. It kind of felt like when he walks in and she sees him from across the salon, it was like a you had me at hello kind of moment. Like, I think she had just been hoping he would show up kind of.
Right. And his nails are clean.
Yeah.
Which she's been messing with him about for the entire movie.
Well, Anne cleaned his nails for him, like showed him how to do it.
Yeah. But he comes in with Keisha so she can meet Keisha.
Yeah.
She offers to do Keisha's hair because obviously Keisha's mom is not at home. So there might not be someone to do Keisha's hair. And this is her with her whole like, I don't like kids. You clearly do.
Yeah.
This is her having kind of one of those moments. And that's the movie.
So having seen the movie, having talked about the movie, what did you think about Poetic Justice?
I really enjoyed it. It's a very sweet movie. It's got a whole lot of wild stuff in it, but like it's an interesting watch. I was never bored. They do have chemistry. They take the time to get to know each other, which is my big complaint about a lot of rom-coms. This is more of a rom-dram, to be honest with you.
Definitely, yeah.
But I enjoyed it quite a bit.
I definitely think it's worth watching. Yeah, I enjoyed it quite a bit as well. I was shocked at how good Tupac was at acting because I've never seen him act.
He's
and I've heard
good.
people say he was good. I was not prepared for him to be this level of good. And I wouldn't say he's like the best actor in the world or anything, but like
Sure.
he can rap and that is like his lane in my mind. So to see someone who's like that good at music be also this good at acting. It's like watching Bo Jackson. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
the guy could play football and baseball professionally. Like that's crazy to me.
Right.
And Tupac can definitely do that. Like he's a great rapper. He's a great actor. He wrote poetry. We should have called him 3Pac. The dude's great.
Could have.
Anyway.
He's a triple threat.
And Janet Jackson's great in this movie too. Everyone's great in this movie.
Yes.
It's definitely worth checking out, especially if you like the Before trilogy of movies, like the Before Sunrise.
Right.
Is a very similar style of movie. It's just them talking and having conversations and coming together but this one has more of a enemies to lovers, which is fun.
Well, and it's a little more active because it's in motion, but yes.
True. Yeah, they kind of get off the train and are just walking around the city most of the movie in
Right.
Before Sunrise. Anyway, but Paige, do you have any fun facts for us?
I do.
Well, here it is with your fun facts.
Poetic
Justice, fun facts. Oh, Paige, can I just say this, though?
Yes.
Sorry to butt into the very beginning of fun facts. When the movie started off with Janet Jackson VO poetry,
Yep.
and then it was revealed that her name was Justice, I was like, oh, she's the title. I love that
Yes.
she is just the title.
Yeah. She embodied the title of the movie.
I know, right? Exactly. Anyway, I guess my point was, when you have a title like Poetic Justice, you're expecting to see some poetic justice on the screen, metaphorically played out for you.
Yes.
That's not what this is. This is a literal movie about someone who was a poet named Justice.
Being poetic. Yeah.
To me, it felt like a very serious rural juror. Anyway, we got to move on.
Anyway, according to writer, producer, director John Singleton, when the 1992 Los Angeles riots/protest occurred during filming, Tupac left the set to participate in the protest, but did return to the set in time for filming.
Good.
Now, notably, in the beginning, when Justice is driving her car, she passes Crenshaw Square on Crenshaw Boulevard.
Yeah.
And you can see the damage to the shopping center from the riot/protests, which occurred during filming.
It's burned out. It looks like
Yeah.
it had recently caught on fire, days ago.
Yeah, and that is not them set decking. That just happened. Also, while filming this film, Tupac got into a heated verbal altercation with one of the extras and a group of other men, other extras on the set. The extra turned out to be a member of the Rollin' 20 Bloods gang and said that Tupac Shakur, who by the way is only 21 in this film,
Yeah.
said that he flashed Crip gang signs at him before pulling out a .40 caliber pistol. However, no one else witnessed him brandishing the gun but overheard the confrontation. This incident took place in July of 1992 and occurred outside an apartment building near Genesee Park where they were filming. And Tupac later stated, that the confrontation was over him standing up for a friend, a woman who was his friend, who allegedly had been robbed by the Bloods. And after he made threats towards that extra, Maya Angelou pulled him aside to give him a pep talk and calm him down.
Okay. That's amazing.
I'm sure that was the best pep talk ever.
Right?
Incredible.
Tupac was like, was that an iambic pentameter? Sorry.
Right? And of course, as we mentioned, Maya Angelou makes a cameo as Aunt June.
And also wrote a 15th of this movie because she wrote all the poetry
wrote
stuff.
all the
Yeah.
poetry.
Yeah.
When Chicago, Joe Torre is the name of the actor, hits Isha, Regina King, she mentions two characters from Boys in the Hood, Dookie and Monster, who were often seen hanging around Doughboy.
Okay.
So when she says Dookie and Monster are going to shoot your ass, it's because that is from Boys in the Hood.
Which is also a John Singleton.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tupac improvised most of his lines during the scene in which Lucky talks to Jesse in the salon, that opening kind of hitting on portion.
Okay.
Now, speaking of Boys in the Hood, Regina King, Lloyd Avery II, Tyra Farrell, Diedrich Gobert, and John Cothran appeared in Boys in the Hood and this movie as well. Boys in the Hood had only filmed a year before this, so a lot of the same cast and crew are shared between the two films.
Yeah.
In one scene, Janet Jackson is listening to the Stevie Wonder song, Never Dreamed You'd Leave in Summer. Great song, and it works great in the scene. But 16 years later, Stevie Wonder would perform that very song at the memorial for Janet's brother, Michael,
Oh.
because it's one of Janet's favorite songs.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Ice Cube was originally offered the role of Lucky, but refused because he believed that he was not at a point in his career where he could play in a romantic movie, and he was already committed to the film Trespass. So scheduling conflicts as well.
Fair enough.
The boyfriend at the beginning of the movie, Markel, is played by Q-Tip, who Janet Jackson, oddly enough, ends up dating in 2002,
Oh, really?
10 years after making this movie. Kind of fun.
That is fun.
Yes. So in this movie, obviously they're taking a road trip and Tupac wants to go see his cousin who is a rapper in Oakland. Tupac plays his cousin's music twice during the movie, once from a boombox and twice when he visits the studio.
Yeah.
The voice of his cousin belongs to a West Coast legend, Coolio, and the songs featured are from his debut album, It Takes a Thief.
Wild.
And this was literally right before Coolio gets huge. So that's kind of a really fun Easter egg.
Yeah, that's cool.
John Singleton and Janet Jackson wrote the scene of Lucky and Justice meeting for the first time at the hair salon together.
Cool.
I think that's always kind of fun when writers and actors kind of collaborate in that way for like a specific scene that they find really impactful. John Singleton originally wanted to write all of his own poems for Justice, but after reading them, decided that his did not fit and reached out to Maya Angelou instead, and that is the right choice. It doesn't matter how good John Singleton's poems are. They might be great.
I'm sure
I have
they
no
are
doubt
great.
that they could be.
Yeah, he's a great writer.
Maya Angelou is perhaps the greatest poet our generation has ever seen.
Yeah.
And so, you know.
Yeah, you might call her the GOAT, the greatest poet of all time. Wait, that's not
Greatest
how that works.
Nope.
But she's definitely one of the greatest of all time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. At one point in the film, Justice is seen putting Tabasco sauce on popcorn. Janet Jackson did this in the movie because her brother used to do it in real life. So that was something Michael Jackson used to do,
Cool.
interestingly enough.
Yeah, it is good.
Yeah. Ultimately, director, screenwriter, everything, John Singleton named his first daughter after the main character, Justice, which I think is very sweet.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yep. 6 different hit recording artists are in the film, and remember they had hits at the time. So Tupac, obviously, and Janet Jackson.
Yeah.
Mickey Howard, Keith Washington, Tone Loc, and Q-Tip.
That's crazy.
Yep.
Not one has a song in the movie.
No, but they're all acting and doing a great job.
Yeah, they're great.
Honestly, Tone Loc is great in this movie too.
He is. Yeah.
I'll end on this one because it's pretty fun. There are more fun facts as well if you want to dig into John Singleton's process. There's a ton of stuff online. But this one I thought was kind of fun and stood out. John Singleton wanted to have Maya Angelou cameo in the film, obviously, because they were using her poetry. So he originally had the idea of her being a palm reader and reading Justice's palm to convince her to go on the trip.
Oh, okay. To go on the trip. Okay. I was going to say
Yep.
he might have been trying to use her as the goddess. You like the meeting of the goddess?
Right.
But that would have happened later.
Right. But this idea was scrapped, and he kind of replaced that character with the salon owner, Jesse, and then fleshed that character out more to have more scenes in the movie. And then Maya Angelou then takes the role of Auntie June, I believe.
Nice.
And those are your fun facts.
Well, thank you for those fun facts, Paige. Let's talk a little bit about box office. So what do you think the production budget was for Poetic Justice? In 1993 is when it came out. I realize it was being shot in 92, but
Correct.
what do you think the budget was?
I bet the budget for this is actually pretty low, especially given that our main location is a mail truck.
Your main location is in motion, and
Right.
solving for sound in that would be a nightmare. You know what I'm saying? Because
Sure.
they're driving that, or it's on a very busy road while they're filming. Anyway,
Right.
yeah.
But I'm going to say this probably cost about $6 million.
It was more, and I do think it's largely because he had some success before this, and you do have Janet Jackson, but it's $14 million, which I still think is pretty low for what we get.
That's on the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every cent of that is on the screen.
Yeah.
This is also shot incredibly well and beautifully at points. So yeah, 14 million makes sense.
Yeah, I think that's really well done, honestly. Okay, so the movie came out July 23rd, 1993, and it was number 1 the week it came out. Sony Pictures actually had the number 1 and number 2 movies this week. Number 2 was In the Line of Fire, although that had been out for 3 weeks already. Number 3 was a Tom Cruise movie, The Firm. Number 4 was Free Willy, and number 5 was Jurassic Park. It was like a murderer's row of great movies in 93. Also in theaters at this time, Sleepless in Seattle, Hocus Pocus, Rookie of the Year, just tons of great stuff. Anyway, what do you think Poetic Justice made in its opening weekend, Paige?
It was in third, you said?
No, it's first.
First. Then I'm going to say opening weekend, this makes at least 10.2 million.
It made 11.7 million. Yeah.
So close.
In the Line of Fire was actually really close to it at 11.2 million. So it only beat it by like
Okay.
$500,000. Anyway, the movie was only in theaters for 3 weeks. And after the first week, it fell from 1st to 7th, and then from 7th to 10th, and then was out of theaters after that. But what do you think it made in its Honestly, it was worldwide, but it was only here in the U.S. when it was released in 93. How much do you think it made at the box office?
I think at the box office, domestically, this makes about $32 million.
Very close, although a little bit high. It was $27.5 million.
Okay.
Which is still way over the budget. I mean, if you adjust for inflation, that $27.4 million becomes $61.1 million. So it did pretty well. It definitely made money. Obviously, John Singleton is still doing stuff.
Of course.
So, yeah, they're going to let him do whatever he wants. But that's your box office. Paige, you want to hit us with that romance scale?
Sure. Our romance scale is a scale of how romantic we found this movie today, and a scale of 1 to 4. Todd, how romantic is this movie?
I'm going to give it a 2 because they do spend a lot of time together talking and building chemistry, which I really like. There isn't a lot of sexy time with them, really. There's the implication, and then a cutaway. But I'll give it a 2.
Okay.
Because they do have some chemistry.
Honestly, I'll give it a 2 as well. I can see a 2.
Do you think they're still together?
That I don't know. I hope so. I do really like their characters and hope that they could find happiness together. I think if you were to make a sequel to this, he starts using her poetry in his music.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think that's like a natural progression.
Yes, would love. They become like the Elton John and Barry Chapin or whatever, the guy who writes the lyrics for Elton John songs, they
Barry Topin, I think is his name.
That's
but
it.
yes, yeah.
They become like that for a rap. I would love that. Let's do it.
Yep.
Guys, let's shoot it now.
Mm-hmm.
Tupac's still around, right?
Right.
I mean, he just released an album in 2023. He's still got to be around.
Yep.
He's not, unfortunately. But Paige, this week you made us watch Poetic Justice. What are we going to watch next week?
We're doing 2011's Jumping the Broom.
Okay. I don't know anything about this movie. But your homework for next week is to watch Jumping the Broom and then report back for that episode.
Angela Bassett's in it.
Oh.
Can't go wrong. Hey, Todd, do you have any reviews for us?
I do. This week, I'm going to read a Spotify comment that came in from our most recent Deliver Us from Eva episode. And I'm going to read Rocktober's. And they say, wow, nice to hear that Paige is in the running for Henry Cavill's personal shoulder massager.
Oh, man, I'm not qualified for that. My hand's too small.
That'll make his muscles look so much bigger, Paige.
It'll make him look cute.
But thank you so much for that comment, Rocktober. And if you want to have me read your Spotify comment or 5-star Apple review, leave us one of those things and I'll do just that. So yeah, if you guys like this show and want to hear our other show where we talk about horror movies, that is The Horror Virgin. That's the only other podcast I am on, but Paige is also on Cult Podcast, which you can find at Cult Podcast. And you can find us on social media. I am at Todd J. Awesome, literally everywhere. Paige is at Paige Wesley on Instagram.
No, it's at Rampage Wesley on Instagram and TikTok, at Paige Wesley on Twitter.
That's right. All right. So that's where you can find Paige. If you want to find the show, we are at Romancing the Pod Show, right?
Yep. Romancing Pod Show on Twitter.
Well, and Instagram, right?
And Instagram, but it's show SHO because character limits. If you start typing Romancing the Pod, it'll come up.
It'll definitely come up on Instagram. I don't know about Twitter because I haven't posted on Twitter in a hot ass minute. So who knows? But that is where you can find more of us. So yeah, guys, give us a follow. Support the show any way you can. We'd love it.
Smash that like button.
Hell yeah.
And that's going to be it for us, you guys. I'm Paige.
And I'm Todd.
And you complete us.
PCH Pletion. Bye. We'll see you next week, nerds.
La 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 la. Romancing the podcast.
At Arizona State University, we've made online education better, smarter, and more personalized so you can go further in your aspiring field.
I decided to pursue medicine once I realized that ASU did have the online program for biological sciences. You're still required to learn the same curriculum. You're still being tested on the same content that anyone would be tested on in person. The comprehensiveness of the program prepared me so well for medical school.
Explore over 350 plus programs at asuonline.asu.edu.